Games are an expensive investment when you pay $60 for a piece of entertainment that can last anywhere from 8 to 40 hours. So it's understandable that a large portion of gamers rely on game reviews and their scores to value judge a day one purchase on the latest game release. But recent scores for huge games like Spider-Man on PS4 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider on PS4 and Xbox One have many questioning if review numbers should be banished from the industry. Spider-Man on the PS4 just released last week, and many were expecting it to rate in the mid-90s. The game looked the part, and with Marvel at the helm with Insomniac, it certainly became one of the best games Insomniac has ever made, the best Spider-Man game ever made, and one of the best games on the PS4 platform. Mixed reviews came in ahead of release and tied the review score down for Spider-Man, not in the 90s, but in the high 80s at an 87 out of 100. This is by no stretch a bad, mediocre, or lackluster score. In fact, an 87 is an outstanding game. But many critics were quick to critique Spider-Man for relying on overused open-world tropes. Do you think Spider-Man deserved higher than an 87? I'm sure most gamers, just players on the PS4 apart from possibly jaded professional industry critics, real day-to-day gamers would say it deserves more. Even though Spider-Man scored 7 points below God of War, that hasn't stopped sales from nearly doubling God of War within the first week in the UK, but I guess this carries over outside of the UK as well. Metacritic is a double-edged sword, and gaming fans rely and at the same time despise the site on a regular basis. That number can mean the difference between buying a game full price or waiting for a sale. What is that number? Well, it used to have a threshold at around 7 out of 10, but more and more, that threshold has shifted to anything below an 8 out of 10. Double standards plague the value system, with PlayStation gamers saying a 75 for GT Sport is an incredible game, better than Halo, a failure at an 84. Metacritic is supposed to show an objective value system by aggregating all the platform reviews into one average number by swallowing the 100s and the 40s if they are in the minority. Still, many cry a media bias, that too many reviewers chip away at the underdog platform by docking points or awarding extra points for the leading platform. But this isn't true. Spider-Man's Metacritic score proved this. The 87 for Spider-Man is being challenged again with an unlikely contender, a multiplat, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. As of writing this video, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is an 83 on Xbox One, just 4 points below Spider-Man on PS4. Even more interesting, on PS4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a 78. This dispels any possibility of a media bias or favoritism for PlayStation with a multiplat with the same number of critic reviews, for PlayStation with a multiplat with the same number of critic reviews with a few points disparity. First of all, let's get this out of the way. That media bias, it's not a conspiracy theory or an underhanded deceiving plan to bury a console. Media bias exists on both sides as a preference and excusing faults of their side. The score for Shadow of the Tomb Raider is there from each of these 40 critics requesting a PS4 copy of the game to review. The Xbox One version has also been reviewed by 40-some critics that chose to review the game on the Xbox One. Right now, the preferred and leading platform in the industry is the PS4, but the PS4 also has the weakest console when you compare it to the Xbox One X. So critics that choose to review the game on the Xbox One X are able to see the game in its highest quality on console. Is this review score because of better visuals and better performance, or is it paired with a better experience overall on Xbox One? This can't be unless a large portion of the critics test the game on both consoles. Some industry reviewers will play the game on both consoles, but normally the game is requested by the reviewer to be played on their preferred platform. Most of the time, this is the PS4. This is why we typically see a larger ratio of PS4 reviews on multi-platform games. The other concern is that the game has been scored on the Xbox One very close to Spider-Man, deemed to be one of the greatest games of 2018. Sales and the allure of being Spider-Man is showing that Insomniac has knocked it out of the park. But by the end of the week, the numbers for Shadow of the Tomb Raider on PS4 should start settling out. I expect the Xbox number to settle at around 84 and the PS4 version to come up to an 80 or an 82. But why put such an emphasis on the Metacritic number? Few are willing to admit that sales mattered, since the highest selling games pair up to something like Call of Duty and Minecraft. Numbers of players is out because Roblox and Fortnite hold that designation, so when fanboys want to boast that their games are better than others, Metacritic is a pretty solid argument, and it lines up nicely with the best games this gen, like God of War, Uncharted 4, Forza Horizon 3, Halo 5, Gears 4, Bloodborne, and so many more. But a Metacritic number, as a collection of so many reviewers, biased or not biased, gives a grading system to hold your wallet or go ahead and hit the pre-order button. The industry has been putting out feelers recently within the gaming community to do away with stars or a number system tied to Metacritic or OpenCritic, and instead adopting a buy or don't buy system. Polygon, a site that has had its share of criticism, has already done away with a review score system, with Spider-Man being their first big game without a review score. A review score tempts gamers to scroll past the meaningful context and explanation to get to that magic number. And as they put it, it allows fanboys to use numbers to push their argument. If the review number is gone, all they have left is sales figures, and Microsoft has made that nearly impossible to track by releasing exclusives on Xbox Game Pass and pairing new releases with Windows 10 PC. Certainly Sony has no qualms about showing and boasting numbers with double the console audience and excellent attachment to exclusives, nearing 8 to 10% of the 80 million PS4 owners. But this brings us back around to the media bias obstacle that makes it difficult to make an objective point without being blamed or shamed into something called media bias. After all, big sites have always benefited from higher traffic volumes on their sites and channels with console war sparks. Intentional or not, a site like GameSpot does not benefit from a controversial review score on a big PS4 game because it pits the majority of their audience against them. But the aggregate of 30+ review sites with honest reviews snuffs out any opportunity for a few sites to take advantage of the console war. Review scores can make or break a game's success in this era of gaming. Rarely does a game shine through a mediocre score and sell beyond the threshold of a 70-something on Metacritic. But in all honesty, the majority of us do not rely on Metacritic alone, but we use it as part of an important value system. Games are expensive and can add up over busy release schedules, and we'll be relying on a system of friends' recommendations, our own judgment, and trusted review scores to plan out our gaming purchases through this crowded fall 2018 and through spring 2019. And I don't see review scores going away anytime soon. It's an integral part, if slightly harmful part, of the gaming industry. This is Colt Eastwood. Thank you so much for watching. I've spent over 15 hours already on Spider-Man, and it's a testament to how Insomniac was given the proper time and the resources to make a fantastic game. Under Marvel's direction and Sony's development funding, they pushed Insomniac to create something bigger than we'd hoped. And I want all games to be given that kind of care no matter what platform they release on. By the time this video is up, I'll be done with Spider-Man, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Except for the MJ parts, but those are so short I wouldn't even complain about it. If this is your first video here, welcome, subscribe to the channel. I create mini doc type videos like this about once a week. I try to cover bigger, farther reaching topics that I can illustrate, so if you have any questions for me, message me at Colt Eastwood on Twitter, PSN, Xbox. I'll be on Shadow of the Tomb Raider by the end of the week. Oh my gosh, my PS4 will be on a break until Days Gone in the spring. I can't wait. Let me know what you're looking forward to the most for the end of this year and what you're looking forward to the most for spring 2019. Have fun gaming. If you head into the comment section, be careful and, be nice.